We are live.
It is about time.
I know. Man, you are seriously the highlight of my day. When I talk to you, it's just a pure joy.
Well, thank you. I like to think that when I'm looking at you, I'm looking into a mirror and I've just got this dazzling energy coming back at me. So thank you.
I'll take it all day. I'll take it all day. I am so excited. I just launched the high school edition modules, learning modules. So that happened today. It was a huge
Yay.
milestone. I know.
Yay,
Super.
yay, yay.
And I get to talk to you. So, I mean, do I really have anything to complain about? But
It's all good. So what's up? What are you thinking about?
well, there's a couple of things, and I want to start with an Aristotle quote again, the one that you and I have said before, and I have been internalizing quite a bit, and I think it does cascade into the topic of affirmation and not just speaking it, thinking it, being it, living in it, and not creating ceilings for yourself from some of your insecurities that live within that no one gets to see, but the external world thinks you're doing a lot better. Um, so I'll start there and then we'll go right into it. How about that?
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
All right. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Aristotle.
Choice, not chance. Yes.
So it's interesting because when I think about choice, not chance, when I think about determining destiny, when I think about high intention, there's a lot of great growth ahead of me. There's a lot of great growth across a lot of high performers. And we speak things into existence, but sometimes internally, mentally, we may be putting, walls up or doubting or having anxiety. So I'd like to explore that with you a little bit because I'm actually in the middle of this, right? Of the external world perception versus me, and how do I overcome that anxiety or feeling I may create that I don't know exists,
Well, if we could do this, if we could, I got it. And I got where you want to go with this, but let's leave where we're going to go for just a second. And let's just talk about what you're present to. So you said something very interesting a second ago. You said, I'm in the me versus me phase of this. And then you went on to say about, and this is, some sort of something about where I'm going. We'll talk about where we're going, but say something about what you're present to in that me versus me kind of conversation.
So I've always tried to put a mirror in front of myself to be better than I was yesterday. And
Okay.
I'm not so worried about the external world of competition, different things going out, because I'm so hyper focused on the impact that we're curating and the community build and all of those things. But I want to look in the mirror often and say, I can't hide from myself. And although I'm making strides and steps, am I truly nurturing my inner child, my inner self, or am I living a little bit to the external world because of people's perception of success of it all? And I find myself sometimes toggling between the reputation, right? Building that reputation with the brands versus looking at myself and staying keenly aware of like my purpose, living it out through a servant leadership capacity.
Okay, good. So, you quoted Aristotle at the very beginning, and Aristotle's a really interesting place to kind of apply in this conversation. So, Aristotle talks about the inner virtues or the moral virtues. This is what we use to develop our inner self. That is the work that we're doing on ourselves. And he said those virtues are courage, temperance, justice, and prudence. He said that's what you need to be doing to work on yourself. So that's one question or one conversation. Mm-hmm. He said then there is what he called the intellectual virtues, which are the virtues that have you presenting yourself to the world. The virtue of your vision, of your the word is nous, but it's really your instinct, it's wisdom, and it is really your way of how do I express myself intelligently in the world, action. How do I express myself? So I want to make sure that you are clear that you're having two different conversations in one.
Okay.
Okay. One of them is you're having the inner conversation, and then you're having the outer conversation. The outer conversation is the one it's about your destiny. It's about where you're going. It's about what you're going to get. It's about your productivity.
Mm-hmm.
The inner conversation is about the work you're doing on yourself. The outer conversation is the one about what other people think of you, what your reputation is, how you're seen as a stereotype, how you're interacted with by the outside world. The inner conversation is in how you empower yourself to be the best that you are. So that's the part that I'd like to kind of focus on in the beginning.
Okay.
In the area of courage, in the area of temperance, in the area of justice, in the area of prudence, those for inner virtues, those are the tools that Aristotle says that you have to be building your character. And given that this is a character-based conversation, and it's going to be your character that expresses itself in the world as a fulfillment of your destiny, where does affirmation come into this? Can you see that it is an inner or an outer conversation?
It's, to me, for me, the way I'm taking it is an inner.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is I'm not doing what I'm doing for the external world.
That's really, really brilliant, because you want to make sure that it is an inner conversation, and you want to make sure that you're not doing it in order to score something in the outer world.
Exactly.
It is, you're doing it pure and simple for your own growth and development.
And contribution. And it's interesting because I have it in me. I live it, I believe it, I honor it.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I feel my birthright. I'm living in my purpose fully. But there are times where it gets heavy with the responsibility of others looking at me while I'm still doing self internal reference of stepping into that capacity fully without any bumpers. Like I've got the gas down, but do I have it fully down, or are there parts where I let up a little bit because it's going right? And
Or are there parts where you're kind of listening for criticism, for example?
possibly, yeah, possibly.
Like everybody's got an opinion. They're kind of like belly buttons. Everybody's got one.
You're the best with your things. I love when you say these things to me.
Everybody has an opinion. And if you're doing the work, now I'm going to say you're Michael Jordan and you're doing the work. You're LeBron and you're doing the work. You're Steffi Graf and you're doing the work. You're Arnold Schwarzenegger and you're doing the work. Everybody has an opinion on whether you're doing it right, whether you're doing it in the right way, whether you're doing it in the most effective way. They've got an opinion, assessment, a judgment, or a point of view. So I'm hearing that what will, if we listen to it, undermines our affirmation and our clear sense that we're on the right path, is when we listen to other people's opinions, assessments, judgments, or points of view. And not only that, sometimes we hear it, and sometimes we make it up that others are thinking it.
Bingo. The
Bingo.
latter, I think, is something I'm working on, because
Yeah.
in my process, as we scale this out, It's all about letting others know the resource that exists and the peer to peer, the collaborative environment, learning from each other, being able to challenge each other, being radically candid, like all of these things. This community is built now. It is structured in such a way. It's also equivalent to when I published my book. People gonna buy it instead of thinking about, well, hold on, I poured into this, and those that will receive it, fantastic. Instead of, are people going to buy it, right? And
Yeah.
it's the vulnerability aspect of putting your soul out, putting what's in your mind out, and hoping the world receives it for the full impact that I know deep down it is.
Okay, so what I want to bring up is I want to bring up a triplicate of I'm going to say practices
Okay.
that would support us. But we have to insist on this triplicate being a two-way street.
Okay.
So in other words, when you establish your relationship with others, like for example, you and I have a particular kind of empowered relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that relationship, if we took a look at it and we kind of boiled it all down, is characterized by three things. It's characterized by dignity, by respect, and by uncommon courtesy.
Got it.
So in our relationship with one another, we are insisted upon dignity, respect, and uncommon courtesy. I expect that from you for you, and I expect that from you for me,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. So I'm going to be interacting with you with dignity, respect, and uncommon courtesy. And in fact, I think that if you look, you'll see that for the most part, the people that you interact with you as with dignity, respect, and uncommon courtesy. The question is, are you acting that way towards yourself? And when I say self, I mean the capital S self, that is your inner person.
Wow.
So in the area of courage, temperance, justice, and prudence,
Mm-hmm.
am I interacting in all four of those virtues towards myself in a way that has dignity, respect, and uncommon courtesy towards myself? That's the question. Because I say that if you are allowing those made up conversations that are external to come in and displace you and kind of throw you off your track, somewhere along the line, you're not treating yourself with dignity. You're not really honoring the depth of the respect and the uncommon courtesy and dignity that is the composite of who you are as a contributing and serving member of our community.
I think you hit it on the head there. And I never thought about it like that. And I think you're spot on. And I don't always give
Well,
myself.
look at it this way. Who's your greatest critic?
Myself,
Oh, yeah.
for sure. Without
Now, if you know, in fact, that you know, in fact, you know that you know that you know that you are, in fact, your own greatest critic, then you want to get that the way that you are when you're critical of yourself is a violation of dignity, respect, and uncommon courtesy to yourself.
which is fascinating because I pride myself when I interact with others and meet others where they're at and find
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
come with grace. I come with understanding. I come with that respect, that dignity, that uncommon. So it's fascinating that the concept to do unto others, right? That I've always like grown up with, like, do unto others as you want done to yourself. And I'm like,
Yes.
no, but I've challenged that. I'm like, no, I want to treat people how they want to be treated, although I may want to help level them up or nudge them or do different things to help them garner a better lens or framework, and let them make the decision, but help be a champion or a different perspective, right? But it's interesting. I've never focused on myself through that lens of when I say I'm looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. See, here's what I would bet money that you are consistently a better friend to others than they are to you.
Yeah, I think.
In that you love them more, you see more in them, you see more possibility in them, and so on like that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I feel.
And I would also bet money that you see this bag of meat that you walk around in as separate from your inner self.
Say that again. Can you repeat that again?
That you actually see that, like, for example, this individual who's speaking with me right now,
Mm-hmm.
this persona who's talking to me right now, I think you see that as separate from your capital S self.
Interesting. So you think I compartmentalize and silo?
Yeah, I think that what you're seeking is something that is called self-expression. Your true self-expression is one of dignity, respect, and uncommon courtesy. Your true self-expression is one of courage, temperance, justice, and prudence. Your true self-expression, which is what you do when you are with others, because they give you permission to do that, and you are committed to doing that. But the question is, have you given your capital S self permission to be that way with you, to validate you? Now, I don't think that's unusual. I think that's pretty much everybody. But the question is, what would I have to give up or get off of in order to fully empower my capital S self with dignity, respect, and full self-expression and full uncommon courtesy? What would I have to give up?
It's interesting you say it in terms of give up, because when I had a conversation with my friend who kind of had this like moment with me about talking about it, like I literally felt seen, John. Like I felt when we were having that conversation, he was talking to S and the siloed person that is some way with everyone else at the same time. It like felt spiritual. It was kind of crazy. And the way he positioned it to me was, obviously the affirmation piece, but one step further, he talked about poise. Even in chaos and whatnot, it's already happened. Like you're already there. You're just doing the work. Like I already see it. Like, how do you not see it? Like you need to be poised in the chaos of you trying to self manipulate yourself, right? And not honor your capacity of greatness that you talk about, because you're not, right? If you keep them separate, you're not. So it was just interesting how he used the strategic word poise.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It did, and I'm telling you, it hit me to the core, because I think it really coincides with what you're saying. Because the poise part, I can see it being the dignity, respect, and uncommon courtesy to honor where I'm at, show the grace that I show to others, to myself. And I don't, because I'm
exactly. Well, we buy into our persona. We buy into that kind of public relations mask that we put out to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, most people actually think that that's who I am. When you call people on their persona, when you call them on the mask, you call them on the way that they're posturing themselves.
Oh yeah.
Posture is another way of saying poise. But when you call them on that, a lot of times people will say, "But that is who I am." when in fact you look through them and you see that's not who they are at all. Who they are is so much more human and authentic and rich and powerful and worthwhile. So I think there's a question of worthiness that comes in. Like, this is going too well. This is going too easy. I'm not working hard enough.
Bingo.
When in fact, you're on a roll.
Bingo. You nailed it. Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. And
so the question is, are you worthy? Are you worthy?
I am.
Yeah, you are.
I am.
Now, when you resolve that, because that was easy, once you look through it, once you kind of blow the smoke away, and you get, oh, I am worthy, which, by the way, is an affirmation.
It's funny, we talk about this. Today I posted.
Funny, yeah.
Literally, I posted today, I am. And people hit me up and they said, well, I am what? Like, what am I? And I said, I am everything. I am her. I am the person. I am the one stepping into my capacity of greatness. I am. And they were like, I never thought about it like that. And I said, I feel like I got lit with a fire again. Not that I didn't have a fire, because you know me, I'm burning. I'm ready to go. But I had to deal with this because things are moving, things are going, and it's great. But I need to not put self-doubt in the pace, in the trajectory, in the fact that I am. Right? And
well, that's a very profound kind of realization, and it doesn't happen on time every time. I don't know if you followed the Lakers at all, but they had a guy who came in the late in the season, number 15, Steve. I want to say Greaves, maybe something like that, but number 15. He was playing he was not drafted. He, was on a game to game sort of thing, but he came in and he sort of took over and he started playing out of his head, and he started feeding and really partnering with LeBron and partnering with the rest of the team. And all of a sudden he was good for the outside shot. He was penetrating for the in shot. He was making the plays. He was doing this. He became the most powerful, most valuable player on the floor. And it went on game after game after game. And about the 8th or 9th game in, when this guy was just doing what he was doing, he made a shot and he was running back down the court and he was yelling, "It's me, it's me, it's me." He got it. And he got it in that moment. I am worthy. I am fully a Laker. I am fully belong in this group. I belong as a starter on this team. And I belong, and we're going to build something here. And I'm a big part of it. That's kind of like you. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like you getting, it's me. I am. And with dignity and with respect and with fully uncommon courtesy in your interactions with in your relationships with others, what you're doing is you are not only getting it's me, I am, but you're also having them get, which is maybe even more important, that it's them, it's me. So who you are is someone who's empowering these conversations.
And I'm not afraid to have them. And I'm not afraid to be vulnerable to the fact that we're all figuring it out. This is part of life. The journey is where the magic is. The end result, that's for the ego. The journey's for the soul. Like, it really is for the soul. And it challenges you. It tries to tempt you. It tries to distract you. But when you are, I am, there is no distraction. There's only be. And it hit me hard. And I wanted to share this today because so often I get reached out to and people are like, man, like, how are you doing it all? Like, how are you doing this and that, blah, 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 because they just see it for that level. But the amount of internal work that I'm still continuing to do, the curiosity, the lifelong learning of it all, that's really the magic. all the outcomes and programs and output is contribution of it, but this is really it. And we all have it in us. Just some of us ignore it our whole lives. You know?
Yeah, there was a famous guru named Baba Ram Das. A lot of people are familiar with Ram Das. He was a contemporary figure. He died maybe 4 or 5 years ago. He said 3 words that actually have changed millions of people's lives. And those 3 words are be here now.
Be here now.
Be here now.
Like
There's nowhere else to be. Just be here now. And so when we started this conversation, I said, okay, there's the results part of the conversation, the intellectual part, the part where we're selling, the part where we're dealing with other people, but it will never go any further, any richer, any more useful, and any more honoring than the conversation that you are in when you are being here now as who you are, your capital S self, self-expressing in the commitment to contribute to and to support and uplift others.
Well said. Yeah. And sometimes the other reason I wanted to bring this up is sometimes when we get lost, lost in the sauce, right? You feel like you're running in place, or you just don't know. You lose your lighthouse or your compass. You know how we were talking about that before. I challenge you to pause, because a lot of times it's mental that you're creating and spiraling, instead of maybe you should really look at the people around you and find those people in your tribe that are truly inner circle, that you can be your S self, and be able to have a dialogue like this that drives inquiry, nudges, but allows you to come to a head. And
yeah,
my friend Padric Scott did that yesterday to me. And now you are further enhancing and enriching. So I am. And it is now. And everything that I am doing today, there is a reason, because I am her. I am chosen to do this. It is what I am stepping into. So it's a powerful place. That's why when we first got on the phone, I have all this energy, because I'm just so grateful. I'm in my grace. I'm in my knowingness of the fact that
and you're deeply grounded in your being. I have never thought of this before, Sam, but I just thought that the proper response to I am. So if you say I am, I will say it to you. Say it.
I am.
You are.
I like that.
Yeah, you are. That's the validation.
Validation. And we talked about, when you started, you said, when I talk to you, Sam, I feel like there's the mirror, because
right.
How we have built together, the relationship on the dignity, the respect, the uncommon courtesy of how we show up. And what you just did by saying that is, now you became my mirror that you always have been, understanding that I'm on that path of truly honoring my inner self.
Yeah, it's interesting. Thank you so much. And it's such a reciprocal, you get, this is the place where the value really lives, is where you give to get, and you get it back, and you get it back 1,000 times over. So this is a remarkable and lovely and enriching conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. And no, thank you for honoring where I'm at, and also challenging me to continue on the pursuit of it, not just being okay with
Mhm,
where I'm at. Because
mhm.
there's also so much more, but I want to live in the present to be able to continue to drive my inner self to the heights that I am.
Yeah, yeah, and you are.
So, what a place to stop. Excellence is not an accident. I'm going to end right where we started. Aristotle.
There you go. There you
Excellence
go.
is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, my friend, thank you for honoring the conversation the way you always show up. And it's just
Always my privilege. Always my privilege.
what an honor. Just to be in proximity and to be in your tribe. And I'm humbled. So thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Salute, my friend. See you soon.
Okay.